Hi everybody, it's Benty Hansen here again. I've been a little bit quiet of late, mainly because I've been, just observing what's going on. And like you, most likely, I've been listening to some video clips. And, it's wonderful to see so many people awakening and aware at this point in time, because this is something that I have been waiting for. You have no idea how excited I am about these times. Now, what I'm also observing is a lot of people in fear, a lot of people questioning. And so today I thought I'd just do a little bit of a ramble, and hopefully by the time that I get to my ramble, you will feel reassured that everything that's happening in the world right now is absolutely perfect and is meant to be. Now, I can't reassure you that you're going to be fine, because that's up to you. You are responsible for yourself, and you are responsible for how you react to situations and how you respond. So I'm going to go back and provide a little bit of information and detail that I haven't shared previously. So I ask that you're patient with me, okay? So way back at the beginning of this century, I connected with an energy, a soul energy, and this was the energy of the soul that embodied as Edgar Cayce. At the time that it happened, I had no idea of exactly who Edgar Cayce was or his history. And his energy sat within my kundalini, which goes up through the spinal column. He sat within that like a 30 centimetre or 12-inch filament of energy. And that energy would sort of expand when I was doing deep trance work, and it would contract. But what I ended up doing was a lot of deep trance channeling on the east coast of the US, and I certainly had enough or plenty of people come along to listen and received sufficient verification that what was coming through was pretty genuine. When I would go into these deep trance states, I had no idea of what would come from my mouth or how people would respond to it. And it wasn't until much later, when I would listen to the audio recording that I had taken and then transcribe what had been shared in the groups, that I realised that this was quite a lot of wisdom. Now, this actually all took place before 2012. And as many of you are aware, there was an energy activation in 2012. Now, before I go any further, I just want to share this with you, because I ended up writing a book which contains some of this information. So, the book sold reasonably well. People in the States were interested. And at that time, I think that we were all waiting for something miraculous to happen in the December solstice in 2012. And maybe our hopes were too high. But what actually happened was that there was an energy activation that occurred. And through that, there was the beginnings of the awakening. You might say 2012, that was a long time ago. No, not really. Not in universal time, where there is no time. What became very apparent during the channelings that were given over a period of 3.5, 4 years, is that everything that we are experiencing now was channeled at the time. So I'm going to give you the heads up on just a brief outline on some of the information that came through. This is a time of inner transformation, and that was the underlying theme of just about every deep trance channel I undertook. The inner transformation is what goes on within here when there is an awakening that occurs, when you discover that you are more than this physical body, and that you are here to do more and to be more than what our culture has, conditioned us to believe. So the underlying theme, as I say, was inner transformation. And since 2012, it's been happening slowly. And with the next activation that's going to happen during the December solstice in 2020, this coming activation is going to be even stronger and more intense. So what we're going through now is what's leading up to this major energy activation. The energy of Edgar kept using two words, pain and discomfort. And that's what we're experiencing right now, because we're being taken out of our comfort zones. We are literally being shown that the ways that we have been living are not working. Some of the information that came through talked about massive changes, and I'm just going to list a few of them here. Economic, agricultural, religion, education, trade. But there are more changes coming than just these. But to literally change these systems, we have to go through a process. The first step is to let go of the belief that everything that we've known is true and be willing to embrace new possibilities. So we are seeing the dismantling of the old at the moment. For example, as much as we are used to a certain currency and economic system, we're going to go into a new technological system. If you haven't heard of the quantum financial system, it's fairly new, but I suggest you do your research. I haven't got a handle on it yet. It's quite complex, but this needs to replace the current system that we have, because the current financial system keeps us enslaved. We are busy working to pay the man, and we're going to step out of that. The education system is one that has a lot of faults, and it really is about, I guess, brainwashing children, and I'm a product of that, just as most of you are. And when you start to explore beyond everything that you've learned, and you realize, I have to unlearn everything that I know in order to begin the journey towards back to my own knowing. So the political system is going to go. We are going to create a new structure for that. But in order for all of these system changes to happen, we have to deconstruct what we are familiar with and begin the process of reconstruction. I realize that a lot of people are living in fear and uncertainty. However, I would also suggest this is a beautiful opportunity right now to begin a process of regeneration, of rethinking and exploring new possibilities. For example, if you are fearful about your employment situation, what I see for the future is that there are going to be plentiful opportunities for employment, but it will be a different type of employment to what we're used to. It will be employment where we work in an area that we are passionate about and interested in. There will be new technologies, ones that support us rather than enslave us. There will be new and actually not new forms of agriculture. We will revert to the original form of agriculture. In the channelings that I did, Edgar Casey talked about the development of communities where we're going to go back to a more natural lifestyle, living closer in harmony with nature and one another. Politics will be how can I put this one here? Politics will be from the people, for the people, by the people. At the moment, every election system is rigged. And if you don't believe me, do your research. Only very select few people get in because they are part of the in crowd. And I realize that this time right now is not necessarily the time to make the changes in the outer world. We still have more upheaval to come. We have a massive number of changes to come. But where you can make the changes are within yourself. Where is your passion? What do you feel strongly about? Because whatever your passion is, there's a really strong likelihood that this is a potential direction for you to take. If you have innovative ideas about business, about manifesting your life differently, start working on those ideas. See where they take you and see their potential. After this COVID scamdemic is over, which it will be, and it's not going to be that many more months, I can assure you. After it's over, this is when you can put your potential into practice, where you can begin to figure out how you can create the reality you've come here to create. It's not an easy task. I realize that. If you are the sort of person who has a lot of anger, my suggestion would be use that anger constructively, because anger can work both ways. It can bring you down, it can make you miserable, and it can create an inherent tendency towards depression and even violence, including self-violence. Or the anger can light the fire within. Yeah. Anger is good when it's used constructively. And now is the perfect time to go within and to just observe what your real potential is. You may not be aware of it now, yet once you open to the idea of it, it will begin to manifest. Now, to get back to the solstice of 2020, this coming December, it's not that far away, just over 2 months, 2.5 months. It's going to be really big. The Australian indigenous elders have shared information and have asked that it go worldwide. Here, I'll get the goosies now. As soon as I start talking about this, it just envelops me in so much joy. According to the indigenous Aboriginals of Australia, they were the first people here on Earth, and they came from the Pleiades. It was the Pleiades who created what they call the dreaming time, and since then the Pleiadians have kept a strong watch on planet Earth, because they knew that our Mother Earth, our mothership, would be transitioning into the higher frequencies, the fifth dimensional and above. So according to the folklore, there is what they call a magic box that is going to be activated in 2020, in December 2020. It's not a box per se, but it is something that holds the potential for a wave of high frequency to sweep right across the world. And with this happening, it's really important that as many people as possible support this process. Simply by doing a lot of meditation, you can support it. Simply by sending healing energy to the planet, not just Uluru, which is where the activation is going to happen, but by sending healing energy to all those people you don't like, to all the government leaders, to anybody and everyone who is in need of energy healing. Just send it out. Send it out unconditionally. So the activation at Uluru is going to be happening at just after 9 p.m. on December 21. And I don't know where you're living, what your time zone will be at that time. But we have been asked to meditate on the release of this energy that is buried deep within Uluru, and which has a strong connection to the Pleiadians. I have the good fortune to be going to Uluru with 2 other friends. There's no need to go to Uluru, but we were called. And I know that we have been doing a lot of energy work around this activation, and it's been ongoing for a while. What this activation will do is that it will bring up this vibrational frequency, which is stronger and higher than anything else that's been experienced to date. And if you doubt this, then I recommend that you start researching the Schumann resonance. The Schumann resonance measures the gigahertz or the hertz of the Earth's pulse. Already the fluctuations and the peaks are spiking unbelievably, and they will continue to do so. And the intention is that this energy will move from Uluru, which is right in the middle of the desert in the centre of Australia. It's going to be real hot at that time of the year. It will move from Uluru and it will travel east. It will travel along the ley lines. And as an aside, I know a lot of people are working on the Earth grid and the Earth matrix at the moment to strengthen those. So this energy will travel along the ley lines from Uluru across the east from the Pacific Ocean. After that, it will also activate the other key portals on this planet. Now, what does this mean for you and I and for everybody else on this planet? A lot more awakenings, and at the same time, there will be a lot of loss of life. This will be because the frequencies will be pretty high, and those souls that choose to not be here for it will leave. That process has already started. And it's just the way that it's meant to be. As you know, when you leave your body, you don't die because you are eternal and you are part of Source. So this has just been a bit of a ramble today, more to reassure you that everything is okay. Everything is fine. Everything is perfect. And if I can just make one final suggestion, as much as possible, step out of the fear and observe. Just observe what is happening without attaching any emotion to it. Because when you do that, you will be able to hold on to the vibration that is within you, and you will be calmer and clearer, and you will know that no matter what happens, you're okay. And that's what the process of change is all about. And it's about spiritual evolvement. This is a spiritual journey, not necessarily a physical one. Okay, that's it for the day. I've had my ramble, and I trust that you're all doing well and you are finding your inner strength, your inner purpose. And if you are one of those people that's going through a phase of not doing anything at the moment, that is perfect as well. Listen to your body. Listen to your inner awareness. It will guide you beautifully. Thanks for that. Take care and enjoy the ride.